So I had just eaten and decided to watch a video on the Colette YouTube channel. It had to do with trans killers, and it made me think about like running a hair salon. There was one comment made by some like male trans killer about how cutting his hair would lead to like embarrassment. And if you can stabilize the conversation on hair care, you're gonna be able to do gender affirming therapy at the level where hair is concerned. The idea that chopping your hair as a trans female defeminizes you inherently carries no weight if intrinsically you self-identify as a woman. And like with that in mind, that's essentially just like the poem to begin this video, because even that doesn't make sense to me. That actually makes no sense to me. So like I volunteer for this magazine or this newspaper, and like I'm not to take public transit, and I don't have access to a vehicle. And so I have to walk my ass over there, and it's like a 30 to 45 minute walk, which is fine, but essentially I'm doing this leisurely activity, walking for work, because it's not necessarily for my own care. And it kind of occurred to me, like, I know I like talking about bureaucracy. I know that Jordan Peterson has his schooling in departments of psychology, and then he focused on fascism, and like I've just become so like like I understand the Jewish identity a lot more than I used to. I've come to understand Nazism a lot more than I used to. It's not a bad idea for me to study fascism, and like I already have tons of literature on fascism because I have a really good bookshop. Like I was thinking like, oh, I can't volunteer at this newspaper anymore. But the thing is, the credentials on my resume are shit, and just practically speaking, it already says that like I would have to take that off of my credentials, and I've already been doing it for like 8 months. And so like there gets to a point like as an anarchist where like not because it's old that it's a valuable institution, but because it's actually like doing the work of postmodernist, like I'm acting like a postmodernist and like committing to serving my community, because I could be doing anything else, but I'm actually choosing to volunteer. And like that's an interesting problem to have. Like if you have a shit resume, like we're just in that phase in postmodernism where we've deconstructed things, but we haven't proposed better alternatives. And so like my resume looks like shit, And you would think, oh, well, then of course you're not going to get a job. But the reason why I'm not getting a job is because there's actually like a conspiracy against white men. Like, regardless of me being an anarchist and a postmodernist and kind of to whatever, like taking accountability, legitimately speaking, postmodernism requires an educated public to cooperate in the deconstruction of society. If literally colored people don't know that they have to practice postmodernism, they are going to intentionally racially profile me and not hire me. Like, who's talking about that aspect of postmodern thought? And so I'm thinking, like, at these hair salons of mine, everyone gets on their resume that they're volunteering. You literally have to volunteer, which is like, like, we'll figure that out. But like, it's not safe to have a shitty resume. Like but it's not, and you know, it's not like the Ivy Leagues want you to have a really built out resume. It's not a bad idea, and I'm trying to figure this out. For the proposed better alternative to the illusional patriarchy is one where like everything is about your resume, however, in a postmodern sense. That could actually be what I study under fascism, how labor was organized to make an individual valuable in their society. Yeah, like the resume, what would the meaning of your resume look like as a Nazi? Like, what was the experience of being like Hitler's secretary, or like the dude who died and who fucking exterminated himself with that pill during the Nuremberg trials? Like, what is his resume? What the fuck does his resume look like? So what would I study? Okay, so psychology, fascism. Well, just power under fascism, and then just focus on like on just fascism. The Axis powers, so like what, Germany, Italy, and Japan. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, so I'm just gonna like spew this out because I don't even know how to say this. Transism is real for some people and is mental illness for the majority of the public. When someone identifies as trans, there needs to be some sort of medical process to scrutinize them, because like this is the thing about like the Jewish people, like they are fucking with you. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm not anti-Semitic, if I'm like pro-Israel, like there's a subcategory within the group of Jewish people but there's a subcategory within the group of all people, but the Jewish people are special here because they are really good at managing data way better than a lot of other races. But the thing is that, like, literally, the Jews, there's a subcategory of Jews, there's a subcategory of the public that love the fact that young people are being medically botched, cannot detransition, and like make communities outside of the Jewish faith weaker. And so, like, the way that fascism interprets medicine, that's a very, and like through power, like analyzing medicine through the field of psychology, analyzing power present in fascism, sounds pretty reasonable to me. Like as a postmodernist. You don't have to fix, like, that's the thing, like what people don't understand is like I went through psychotherapy. I've been in it for 11 years. My psychologist almost didn't do anything. He just gave me someone to talk to and made me feel seen. And so am I cured? Literally yes, but am I still at the social behest of like, or am I at the behest of like social, like the illusionary patriarchy? Yeah. And the way that we manage those feelings after being cured matters, because there's no cure. Like psychiatrist and psychiatry has never cured a mental illness, they've only managed it. And just the fact that, like, if you are political, assuming the weapon of gender is like very straightforward, because it looks like you're gonna take accountability, and you're gonna say, well, I have a gender, I have a identity, I have a person that's inside of me, and then just tactically use that to then lead into like actual terrorism, is a useful strategy. But fundamentally, you shouldn't be killing people. And like, we're allowing this to happen because there's so much money in medicine, there's so much money in like never curing someone, keeping them sick. Preventative healthcare would lead, like the Jewish people, I really believe that the Jewish people don't believe God is real. They're just using they're maintaining their mythological connection to their identity as a human, and then they're forcing everyone else into post-modernity. But the thing is, that's kind of where I am, like, where I come and I speak to is like, you have to reincorporate the mythological sixth sense back into the individual. When reconstructing society, because that's what we lost, and that's what requires us to deconstruct society in the first place. Nice chat.